Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome to another episode. This week I'm answering a question that I got asked on my Instagram not too long ago. I answered it there and then, but I wanted to go into a little bit more detail. So your lovely listening ears get the opportunity to hear more about what kind of salary you should be asking for. Like, I get this question a lot actually, but the way the person asked me on Instagram I really liked. But yeah, people ask me all the time, like, what should I be asking for? What salary should I ask for? And let's just start here. It's on the job advert, guys. And I know that sounds really basic, but if it's not on the job advert, we can speak about that separately. And I've got a whole episode about if it's not on the job advert. But the first place, what salary should I be asking for? What are they advertising on the job advert that you've applied to? That's where we need to look at. Like, if you want 60k, does the job pay up to 60k? If the job is paying up to 40k, why did you apply? If you know you want 60k. And then I know some of you will be saying, yeah, but what if all the jobs I'm interested in are only paying 40k, but I want 60k? Are you in the right industry? First and foremost. Does your industry pay that much? Like, I used to be in teaching. I negotiated well above what some teachers get or what you can earn in early years, but it still wasn't enough because my industry doesn't pay well. We all know anyone who's a teacher, you do it for the love because you do not get paid well. I don't care if you're the head teacher or whoever you are, the amount of work you have to do as a teacher, teachers are underpaid. Consider this. Teachers, like whether you're a university teacher, an early years teacher, you are training some of the best minds for their future. You might be training the next lawyers, doctors, you might be training the next athletes, but your salary is that of someone who works in Sainsbury's. Anyone who's listening who doesn't know what I'm talking about, like a supermarket, a grocery store, like early years teachers, nursery workers, they're getting paid less than if you worked in a shop, a convenience store, like a Lidl, whatever. I don't want to be just naming random names, but if you worked in a supermarket or you worked in a grocery store, you would potentially earn more. I did actually earn more. In my first job, I worked in a supermarket and I earned more than when I went full time as a nursery teacher. And then as an early years teacher. That's just to give you some context, yeah? Teaching is not the most well-paid industry. So I'm asking you, when you're looking at jobs, if you're saying every job I look at is paying 20k less than I want, does your industry even pay as much as you want? Because some people are super unrealistic. They're in industries that just don't pay that. But some of you are in industries that do pay that, but maybe it's harder to find. That means you're going to have to look for longer. So if you know your industry pays 60k, and that's what you want, for now, wherever you are, keep doing what you're doing. Because listen, bills still need to be paid, people still need to eat. Unless you're comfortable and you don't need to currently work. But look for jobs that are paying what you want. Now, I always tell you guys, there is wiggle room. If a job says between 30 and 40, yes, for the right candidate, they will sometimes go to 45. They might even go to close to 50. But 60, we're pushing it. And even 50 in this job market, you're kind of pushing it. Yes, there's wiggle room. There always is for the best candidates. But nowadays, with there being so many candidates available, companies are not going as high for the top talent. They'll negotiate other things if they really want you. But I'm not saying they won't negotiate above their salary. Yes, they will. But 20k above, no, go where they can afford you. That's first and foremost. So the job advert. And actually, let's back up a little bit, because before we even talk about the job advert, whenever people ask me what salary they should be on, I'm like, okay, let's start here. So we've already talked about industry. So what industry are you in? What do salaries look like in that industry? So have you researched? Have you spoken to people that are in that industry? But more than that, what salary do you want to be on? You should have three options. I speak about this all the time. The salary that you actually want, like the real deal, like the big number, the number that you're like, you know what, this is what I would be happy with. And I'm not talking about the salary that pays the bills, because a lot of people are like, oh, if it pays the bills, then that's what I want. No, because on top of that, there are emergencies that could happen. There are life that you're trying to live. If all you negotiate is the bills, then that's all the money you'll have. What about when extra things pop up? What about when the bills increase in 6 months? What about, listen, cost of living is constantly going up. And I'm not saying that you need to overinflate your salary, but what I am saying is when you're thinking of your biggest top number, I want you to think of the number that not only pays the bills, and when we say pay the bills, that includes investing, because you investing in your future is a bill. You investing in your retirement is a bill. So have you factored that in? Yeah, you've been able to take holidays with your family, with your children, with whoever is a part of your mental health. Have you factored that in? That's a part of paying bills. Have you factored in savings? Because a lot of people are like, oh, it can pay my bills and I've got a little bit extra change. What about savings? What about investments? What about emergencies? What about your kids? What about when the electric and the gas bill goes up? Listen, think of that big outrageous number, the number that you would be like, oh my gosh, I'd be so happy if I got this number. Then just add 5K. Because I know that even when you think of that number, you're still underselling yourself. So that's your big number. Then there's the number that you'd be happy with. That's the second number. What would you be happy with? So your big outrageous number might be 130K, but you would be happy if you got 110. Your big outrageous number might be 65K, but you would be happy if you got 55K or 50K. Think of it like that. What is your big outrageous number? What's the number that you'd be super happy with? And then what's the number that you would be happy with? Again, these numbers should include emergencies. They should include, listen, above all of this bills stuff, because I hate talking about getting paid for your bills, is it paying you your value? Because a lot of you forget that you are delivering a result to a company. So have you factored that in? How much is your work worth? The double W messed me up right there. But how much is your work worth? What is the cost of the work that you deliver? How much are they making because of you? How much are profits going up? Sometimes you're helping your company make insane profits and you aren't even asking for really a fraction of that back. The amount they're paying you is peanuts compared to how much you impact their revenue and bottom line. So when you're thinking about your number, what is the value? And then the last number I want you to think about is your walkaway number. Because if you don't have a walkaway number, then what's the point? Then people are always going to tell you what you're worth. There should be a low number that you like, I'm not working for that. For instance, I might say for a part-time job, if it's less than 45K, I'm not interested. I'm just not. I might say for a full-time job, if it's less than 80K, I'm not interested. I might say if it's less than 60K, I'm not interested. All depends on the job, the role, whatever it is, the industry, all these factors. But what's your walkaway number? What's the number that if they say I'm giving you this amount, you're like, do you know what? Thank you, but no thanks. I'll keep looking. If you do not have a walkaway number, people will be able to walk on top of you. It is really that simple. If you do not have a walkaway number, people will be able to walk on top of you. And that is when you are underpaid and overworked because other people are telling you what your work is worth. When you know, and I know, and everyone around you knows it costs way more than that. So the job advert, that's where we're going to start. If there is no salary on the job, but then they have a mandatory box for you to put in the salary you want, that's when we're going to need to do a little research. Glassdoor, salary.com, these places, we're going to need to figure out what kind of salary do they usually pay for this role. A lot of ex-employees are on those websites and they'll tell you roughly, speak to people doing the role, and then put your number in. Now, actually, let me go back to job ads really quickly. I always tell you guys to go for the top end, and I still stand by that. If you are looking for a job that pays 45K and you know the role goes up to 45, it's okay to put 45. Would I put more than that if I wanted? No, I wouldn't. I would, if I want slightly more, I'll negotiate that at interview. Reason being, in this current job market, they are able to, there's more talent. There's so many people looking for work. They will be able to find someone usually within their salary band. So make sure you're putting the amount that's within the salary band when you put it on your application. So if they're only paying up to 45, even if you want 47, I want you to put 45. When you go for interview, you're going to show them why you deserve 47, then you're going to try and negotiate it. It's a whole different ballgame. We have to be more sophisticated. If you put 47, you will just potentially not get shortlisted in this job market. A few job markets ago, years ago, I'd have said just put the 47. Don't even matter, because they'll probably still see you if your CV is really strong. But you can have a super strong CV, you can have super strong application and not get shortlisted because you've literally eliminated yourself by going over what the advertised salary is. And this is only if the salary is advertised, if it is on the job advert. Don't literally work yourself out of a job because of the current market that we're in. So think about it like that. They don't know you yet. Doesn't matter if you've got a great CV. Remember, that's only the summary. They haven't met you yet. You've eliminated yourself because now they've got 20 people with good CVs, but 15 of those people put a salary within the salary band that they've got advertised. They're going to see those 15 first. And if they don't find anyone in those 15, then they might revisit your application. And nowadays, they're probably going to find someone in that 15, or they're going to make themselves find someone because they want to make sure they can keep within budget. So I just want you to think about that. Remember as well, if you're a PAYE worker, national insurance has changed. Employers' national insurance has gone up, so they're paying more for you. Even if you're on the same salary currently, that you still cost your employer much more than you did before April. So that will always affect wages because now their staffing bill's gone up. They're having to pay a much higher PAYE national insurance for you. Now it's great for you because yours hasn't gone up, but theirs has. So why would they want to then add? Why would they then want to add to salary if they don't need to? So just always remember that. Again, if the salary is not advertised, I've got a whole episode on that. Go and listen to it. But you're going to have to do some research. You're going to have to use your 3 numbers that I spoke about, and you're going to have to think about what it is that you want before you move forward. And yes, in this job market, you're going to hear you're too expensive. And in general, if you've never heard you're too expensive, then you're too cheap. I'm going to be really honest with you. If you've never had someone say you're asking for too much money or that's a bit outside of our budget, you're cheap. And no one wants to be cheap around here. And that includes even if you're on 6 figures. Because if you're on a 6-figure salary, but you've still never heard, what you're asking for is expensive, you're cheap. Because that means the company probably had 130 to pay you and you only asked for 100. So just remember that. It's okay to sometimes hear you're too expensive. It's kind of normal when you're asking for what you deserve. If you interview, now this is really important as well. If you interview and they say they really like you, but they'll struggle to meet your salary expectations, I want you to think about what that means for you. Because have you given them your big outrageous number, or have you given them the number that you'd be happy with? Because if you've given them the big outrageous number, you can have a discussion about, I can consider options. What were you thinking of? So I would ask them, what were you thinking of budget-wise? Let me know. And what are the benefits packages? Like what comes with the salary? Like, do they offer flexible working? Like hybrid? Do they offer an inflated pension? Do they offer, I don't know, gym membership? Like what else is in the package? Do they offer increased annual leave? Now, you know your girl loves annual leave. So if there's increased annual leave, I'll consider some negotiating. So ask. Charge them for results that you deliver. I spoke about this slightly a bit earlier, but I'm just going to repeat it because I think it's really important. You have a set of skills that you've mastered that deliver a result, and that is what you're getting paid for. That result will be worth more to some companies than others. But when we think about those 3 numbers that I said, like, big outrageous number you'd be happy with, walk away number, what are you charging for? You are charging for the results you deliver. Your interview is to talk about and showcase those results that you can deliver for them. That then makes it easier for you to justify the salary that you have put down and that you have asked for. Again, it should be within the salary band. I want you to also think, like some people say to me, okay, their salary band is already 20k more than I'm on. So if they offered me the bottom end, I'd be happy. That's great. But is it your big outrageous number? Like if you're on 30k now and you go for a job and it's already starting at 50, That's a big jump already. So you're like, nice. Doesn't mean you can't ask for 55. Have you researched? Have you looked up what the current going rate is for the role that you're applying to? You might have just been severely underpaid for your industry. You might be on 30K and be severely underpaid. So you're thinking 50K, massive jump. And they're paying between 50 and 65, but you're asking for 50 when actually you should be asking for 60 because you've been underpaid for years because of where you worked. So sometimes you'll be thinking, oh, I'm just being greedy, when actually you're being realistic because you were underpaid. We don't always notice when we're being taken advantage of, but we're quick to notice when we feel like we're asking for too much or we're being greedy. Think about what they're going to expect from you in that job when you start. Are you in the office 5 days a week? Are you working 8 till 6 p.m.? Are they expecting certain KPIs and targets to be met within the first 3 months? Like, think about what they're expecting and what you're willing to deliver, and then think about what that is worth. Not just what it's worth to you, but what it's worth to them. Like, they want a set of like results delivered. You know you can deliver those results. You know you can deliver those results to a high standard. You know you can deliver those results in a shorter time frame than they want. Why are you not charging for it? Why do you not expect more? We're always told not to expect, but when it comes to your salary, you should expect to get paid really well for really good work. But it goes both ways. They should expect really good work because they pay you really well. And you should expect really good pay because you work really, really well. Like, it goes both ways. They are using you to make a profit. Simple as that. And even if you work in the charity sector, they're using you to make a profit because they need to make money to be able to help people. Simple. I'm not going to go back and forth on that. Companies are using you to make money. They are using you to make their institution look better. They were using you to build their reputation and their brand. They are getting something from you or you would not be there. In return, your expectation should be an extremely good salary because you're delivering extremely good work. Again, industry matters. Don't be a teacher thinking you're earning 250K. Like, let's just keep it 100. And when I say a teacher, I mean a teacher in the standard like school system, public school system. Not talking about private teachers, not talking about mentors, not talking about coaches, not talking about any of that. I'm talking about like just a regular teacher. They're not paying that well in the UK for teachers. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but I know that in the UK they're not paying that. I know teachers that I know have even moved to Dubai because they're getting paid better there. But teachers aren't making big, huge amounts of money. Now, if you're an engineer, your expectation should be way more than if you're a teacher. If you're a lawyer, your expectation should be way more than if you're a teacher. Do you see? The industry matters. Currently, things like cybersecurity, people that can use AI, like those jobs pay extremely well. Really, really well. Your expectations should be higher than if you're in a job that doesn't necessarily involve those things. IT, cybersecurity, computers, all that stuff. Listen, out of this world right now. That's what people are getting paid for. So I want you to think about when the question is, what salary should I be asking for? I want you to think about the three numbers that I've spoken to you about. What does the job advert say? Am I going to overplay my hand and literally disqualify myself from the role because I'm asking for too much? And people say to me all the time, oh, can you ask for too much? Yes, you can ask for too much, but only if you're applying to jobs that cannot afford you. Or you can price yourself out because they've clearly told you they're paying up to this amount and you've asked for 10K over that amount. They've got 10 other people that have applied for the job with great CVs and great applications that want within that salary band. So your extra 10K is already a turn off. If you want 10K more, apply for the job that's advertising 10K more. If you use things like LinkedIn and you see the job adverts, the job salary has not been advertised, you can reach out to like the person who advertised the job or to HR and see if you get a response. You will not always get a response. Companies strategically don't put salaries on the advert because sometimes they're going to start paying new people more than they pay their current staff. So they don't want the current staff to know. Other times they want to just see what they can get away with. They want to see, will you accept 30K for a job that actually should be paying 50? They want to see. So they might not put the salary on there. That's a whole different That's like a whole different category when the salary is not there. But when it is clearly there in black and white, I'm going to need you to lose a little bit of discernment and think to yourself, right, I need to get in the room first before I can ask for more than the salary that's advertised. Why? Because this job market doesn't allow as much wiggle room as previous job markets. We have to be realistic with where we're at now, and we have to use the tools that we can to get what we want. Again, if you know that you will not accept a job at 40 or 50K and it has to be minimum 60, you need to find jobs that are paying that much. And that may be an industry change. Like, I've had people change industry because the industry didn't pay enough. I left teaching. I stopped enjoying it. That was my first reason. But then my second reason is, like, I started to resent the pay because I'm working, sometimes coming in on weekends to do fun days or whatever it is we need to do open days. I'm doing all this work and I've got nothing to show for it. I'm still at home struggling every day. Absolutely not. That wasn't for me. So I stopped doing it. So I always want you to think about that. And like I said earlier, the way you negotiate is important. The way you ask for your salary is important. Salaries are not just to pay bills. They are to fund your life. But they can only fund your life if what you have on offer and what you are selling to the company is worth it. So what is the value you bring? You are valuable, but you have to know that value. You have to be able to communicate that value. You have to be able to sell that value so you can get what you want. And before you say, I can't sell myself, selling yourself is just telling the truth about what you're able to do. It's letting the company know what results you can give them. It's looking at what they're asking for and deciding how well can you deliver that to them, and then asking for your money based on that. So I hope that has helped answer, what salary should I ask for? I will speak to you guys in the next episode. I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.